Welcome back, everybody, to Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me. We are on episode 59, 1 week into Minnesota turkey season, or should I say 1 week is over. We're moving on. Luke.
Season B.
How we doing?
Good. I mean, we've been after them, so it's finally been fun to start putting everything we've talked about for the last month and change on or in practice into the field. So it's been fun. Been chasing them with my dad, so it's been a good time.
I think it's kind of funny of where you don't realize the grind of getting up early. I mean, like, I've been getting up early and lifting, which has been good. But like after our vacations that we just had, I shouldn't say vacation that we just had, like I kind of broke that habit and have been trying to get back to it. And this last week, it has felt like the season has gone on for like a month already, of like 5 days of getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And like, now it's kind of like second nature, you build that habit, but like, man, was not ready for that.
Yeah, those early mornings can get you, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've been getting closer each time. So I think we're going to try. We got a ton of rain going on right now here in southern Minnesota, right? So
I tell you what, I cannot imagine. Like, I didn't realize how much rain you guys got. Like, especially like just that your little pocket of area there, you guys got like 2+ inches.
Yeah. Yep. And then we're supposed to get another 1.5 inches tonight and through tomorrow morning. So
good.
Yeah.
Not,
gonna try.
Good.
We needed the rain, but yeah, I mean, I was gonna try maybe sneak out before work tomorrow morning, but it looks like rain until like 7. So I think I'm gonna punt until tomorrow afternoon and see what we can get an evening bird.
Nice. I mean, like, so far obviously you guys haven't cracked the seal yet on one, but have come close.
Yeah, we've been literally on them every time. It's just I think we're honestly hunting the same 3 toms, and they're with 10 hens, give or take. Yeah. And they want nothing to do with, I've thrown a lone hen, I've thrown a hen in a quarter strut, I've thrown those 2 in a full strut. I've tried reaping them the other day, and
oh boy,
they're just, we're not spooking them, so that's good. They just, like, I crawled up to one that was at like, I think the 3 were at like 50 yards. And hindsight's always 20/20, but I should have had my dad crawling right alongside me or behind me or had him just crawl.
You're going bow and he's shotgun, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I didn't even bring out the bow most of the time because I just trying to get him one. So, and film. So yeah, crawled into like 50 yards. They kind of took a half-second look at the full strut and just kind of walked off. So,
it's interesting like that with some farms, and that's where it's good. And I know you've got this in your back pocket too, but I was talking with my father-in-law about it this weekend, where it pays for turkey hunting, deer hunting as well. But I mean, especially turkey hunting, I think it pays to have, outside of public tracks, this goes for that too, of like scouting, having maybe 5 tracks of public that, that have birds onto it, that you can kind of circle around. Same thing with private tracks, where it's like, I know this one piece might have 30, 40 birds on it. Maybe this one only has 10, or, whatever those numbers are. But of where I feel like every farm, just like the rut maybe too, of where it's just a little bit different, and like the dynamics of what's happening out there and how those birds are acting, if they're fully ready of nesting mode and turkeys are mating, or if they're behind the 8 ball and they're still all grouped up, or,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's not scratched my head yet, but a little bit, because the first opening morning we were within 200 yards of the roost watching one of them. I mean, he was roosted right by the road, which is kind of goofy, but
interesting.
But watched him pitch down with 2 more, and I was like, it's gonna get really quick here, Dad. Get that, get ready. And all of a sudden, that same 10 so group of hens came out and nothing. So, and then I think the next day we set up a little bit closer to that. No birds, and it was super windy. But then that's when we were kind of driving around, saw some birds out in the field that we had permission on. So it kind of went around, and Dad crawled. I think he got to about 70 yards.
I got to give your dad props for crawling.
almost 65 years old, and he's crawling through the thicket. So I give him a lot of credit on that one. So it's been fun to chase him around with him.
Back and
yeah, just crawling through the nasty stuff. And then what was it, yesterday morning? We got out. I put him to bed. I'm like, okay, they're probably going to do what they did the day before. Nope, they did the exact opposite. Pitched away from us towards this pond. And it was just like a little oasis for them. I mean, there was all sorts of ducks, pintails, wood ducks.
Crazy.
Geese, everything on that pond. And the turkeys just walked over there away from us. Of course, they didn't. Mm-hmm. You couldn't get them to. I got them to gobble a couple times, respond to me off the roost. So I was like, okay, they're interested. But then all of a sudden I heard like 4 or 5 hens just pop, pop, pop. I'm like, great. And they just chased them over to that pond, and we got close. And I think, well, not close. I mean, the closest we got to them was like 100 yards. But they walked off, and then kind of some of the hens came back and kind of went their separate ways. So I was like, okay, they're going to come give us a sniff and see what. Nothing. No, they came back with 4 or 5 more hens and then followed them off to a whole other property. So,
well, I know you've had a chance to like, it isn't like you're not seeing the birds. Like, I know you've sent me some snaps and stuff that you've been getting some good footy of them all. But like, what have you noticed for, out of the sets of toms that you have seen? Like, what is the initial vibe that you're getting? Like, it doesn't sound like they're that fired up yet. They're kind of just meandering around. Like,
yeah, I mean, I literally watched the one breed a hen, which is kind of funny. But I mean, so they're definitely doing their thing. They're just not. Yeah. They're not responding to.
But I think
nothing.
that though too. I mean, like, and I think of a couple buddies on a couple farms that we hunt that they're a little bit like that too, or where every farm's different. I think some farms are more birds are receptive than others. And like, I mean, I'm thinking of one farm in particular here in central Minnesota. It's a little further north, but like there's some of the hardest turkeys I've ever hunted in my life, because they're almost like deer where they're smart enough where it's like, they know not to gobble because they don't want to be, I mean, they'll still gobble every once in a while, but like they don't make a lot of sounds, just like a deer. They don't leave a ton of sign. And it's like, where the hell do you go from there? And
it's a great question. Yeah, my only thing is, I think, like I said, I might try to just hunt a whole nother farm, to be honest, tomorrow night. And just, I know there's birds over there too. Like in that little section, there's probably 10 different toms. So, I mean, like, okay, I know that there's going to be birds there. It's just if we're in the right area kind of thing. And I kind of know where they roost on that one too. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been, like you said, kind of a little bit of a grind already. Has
at least your access not been through like farmers' fields?
Huh?
Like your access routes to where you guys were hunting, like were you having to walk across like just absolute slops?
No, not really. I mean, a little bit, but not too bad.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. with all the rain we got, I just saw the one field when we were hunting this weekend. I'm like, we are not walking across that.
Oh yeah, you'd be pulling 6 inches of mud with you. But yeah, so mostly field, we're hunting field edges, but kind of been able to get it out, not we walk and chisel plowed. So
nice.
Yeah, but we'll get after them again tomorrow, and the long season, so we got time.
We have. Well, I mean, we've got a whole month and a half here, just about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. But you've, on the other hand, had some pretty good success.
Yeah, it's been a hot start, to say the least. So I can't complain. So far my plan has worked out pretty good. So far we're 3 for 4, which is pretty good. Almost went 4 for 4. We've hunted how many days? Like we've only hunted 3 days, so that's pretty good. But a lot of it though, I just got to give some contribution credit to my father-in-law for locking in. Like, that was one of those key things to success. I said earlier was just kind of going down of making sure that you have ample opportunities and ample spots that you can hunt birds, because, that first day we went out and hunted and we didn't see anything. We heard, I think, maybe 6 or 7 toms that were firing off, maybe like 1,500 yards away. I mean, like clear cross section, barely heard them just because we had wind howling in our face. It's probably the only reason that we heard them. And then we walked the whole property and didn't see anything. And then we went to another property, didn't see anything. And then we drove around and all of a sudden we started to see pockets of birds. And then I was like, well, go door knocking. Like, so we got some permission. And, sure enough, that next morning it took my nephew out, Jack, first time ever turkey hunting. Took him out, and then Ron came with, and it was kind of a funny morning. We watched these birds that afternoon and had a good idea where they were going to be at on this little section of property. And a lot of like where we're hunting at in particular area, I won't talk about areas, but like where we're at is there's a lot of mixtures of good hardwoods, but there's particularly a lot of, I would call, what would be the name for them? Like not birch trees. What's the name for it? Can't think of it. They're like birch trees, but they're not birch trees. Anyways, but yeah, so like more of like non-roosting habitat, we'll call it, for turkeys.
Sure, kind of like that shrub brush stuff.
Yeah, and I should have, when you're walking into a fresh property that you've never stepped foot on in the dark, you're just looking up at the trees.
Yeah,
and this is a funny thing too. Like when you're walking through a woods, like you cannot pick a turkey out when it is like pitch black out, even like gray light. You can't pick a turkey. It's amazing how all of a sudden you get about 10, 15 minutes like away from first light. And then all of a sudden you see a blob. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was there. That just blended in with the tree. And it's like, it's a freaking turkey. So we're looking at these treetops. I'm like, that's an oak. That's an oak. Just trying to pick out where I'm thinking they're going to roost at.
Sure.
And we sat down on this corner part of the property, and I'm like, this should be a good spot. I'm like, we're probably going to be 150 yards off the roost. Well, we were probably 25.
Danger close.
But we got in super early. We got in probably, 45 minutes before first light, and we got the decoy set, got Jack and Ron situated. Ron's never killed a turkey before, and either is Jack, and got situated. And all of a sudden, we're about 25 minutes from first light, and we just hear fires off, and he is literally like 25 yards in the next tree over. Nice. And both these guys are just bug-eyed looking at me like,
oh, baby.
Yeah. And then that proceeded to be, I think it was probably 3 toms. And then it was kind of funny because I think there was 2 or 3 Jakes in that group, that mix. And, if you've ever heard of Jake gobble, it's some can gobble, some can't. So it was just this choir of gobbling. They were losing their minds for probably, 30 minutes. They didn't really get off the roost until like 25 minutes after first light, which was kind of surprising. And we're hens firing back and forth. So we probably had 15 turkeys within a collective 60 yards of us. And it worked out perfect. These birds pitched right down. We did kick a hen off the roost. I guess I kind of forgot about that. We kicked one hen off the roost. And then these birds directly started heading west of us. Like they weren't going to come in, hit a couple cuts, couple calls, and they all circled back. We had 2 toms and a Jake come in. Tom came in, the decoy sets at like 12 yards. Jack absolutely just hammered. And you got to think, I'm trying to film this. I'm trying to coordinate Jack, who's never shot a turkey, trying to coordinate Ron, who's never shot a turkey. I got Jack to my left, Ron to my right, and it's just like, okay, Jack's young. Jack's he's 11.
Take first crack at it.
It's like he's gonna get first crack. Ron's like following this Tom, like he's gonna shoot it. I'm like, Ron, let's let Jack shoot the bird. And so Jack just absolutely hammers that Tom. Nice. And then that other Tom like scattered out. So Ron had my 16 gauge, which I've shot one at 40 before, and he was probably pushing like 50. And then there was a Jake that was, same thing, like 15 yards maybe, and Ron hammered him. So it was fun. So double right off the bat. I think we were done by 6:30. And yeah, pretty good morning.
That's
and,
a good morning.
We got some good photos and stuff, and then we got out of there, and then I think it was we got home late Friday night. Late Friday night, rolled in Saturday. Took my sister's boyfriend Collin out for the first time. Never been hunting in his life, which is kind of cool. And I like, if everybody's listened to the podcast, I love taking new hunters out that have not experienced the sport. I really think turkey hunting's that gateway of like the best opportunity to get out and just experience what hunting is. And, took them out kind of the honey hole, and it was like clockwork, man. It just never fails out there. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
There's been so many mornings where it's like you've thrown everything at a wall, and it's like, all right, we're going to go sit this property. And sure enough, we sit down.
Make you feel good about yourself a little bit.
I will say though, that morning, I mean, Grovedal, that woods very well. And like we sat down, we didn't have any birds that were close. I mean, they were all probably, I don't know, 400 yards away, which was kind of interesting compared to what roosting sites they normally sit in. And so we sit down, and I'm starting it was pretty quiet right away. So I didn't hear any hens and stuff. So I was pretty quiet. And then finally there was one hen that started just cackling off. I copied her. I think it was 15 minutes after first light. Maybe she finally popped out in the field. And then we went at it for probably 20 minutes back and forth. But at this point in time, all the toms have pitched down. They all move north, probably like 1,000 yards. Dang. So we didn't have any birds close. And then sure enough, like I'm going back and forth with her. And I bet you that bird came just running, because all of a sudden it was like, bam, tom 150 yards out, gobbling, covers the field edge. And it's like, okay, game on. I'm like, all right, just take some deep breaths. And but it was interesting though. Like he came kind of running in, and he hung up at like 45. And I don't really know if you would have seen our setup, you would have laughed, because we had Eric with a bow in a ground blind on the front post tree. So he's kind of sticking out like a sore dick. And then I got Collin pitched up against a log with no cover in front of him at all. I'm sitting like spread eagle on this tree with the, filming and Collin and stuff, like no cover, because they cleared out a bunch of this grass that used to be there. And I think he didn't like it. So, I mean, kudos to Collin, because this bird broke from 45, started putting, went to probably like 55. By the time I was like telling him to shoot. I mean, he rolled this bird at like 60, 65 yards.
Nice.
And it was just like, let's go.
Go. Yeah.
So good for him. Congrats to Collin on getting his first bird.
Absolutely.
And to Ron and to Jack. First birds all the way around. So that's kind of
3
fun.
first birds, man. That's awesome.
We almost got Eric a bird. I mean, I'll save that story. It wasn't too exciting, but we almost got Eric a bird that morning too. Yeah. So yeah, I can't complain. I mean, that's all we got to get out and hunt. Other than that, we got to celebrate Easter and so I'm ready to, I'm itching now, because now it's like we get the chance to hunt.
Sure. Yeah.
I haven't had a weapon in my hand. Actually, I take that back. I did take Nora out. Took Nora out yesterday on an impromptu hunt, because she's been begging me the turkey hunt. It was perfect timing. We snuck out to the back part of our property on the home farm, and we somehow made it to the ground blind, which is amazing to me, because we just got this nice low brush cover that we can get into. But we're walking out, park the golf cart, probably have a 150-yard walk. And all of a sudden, we're probably 60 yards from the blind. Hens are, and this is at like 4:30 in the evening. Hens are losing their mind. There's like 3 or 4 toms just firing off right, left. It's like a war zone. I'm like, holding Nora's hand. Nora's like all bug-eyed looking at me like,
what's that?
We've taken her turkey hunting, but they didn't really gobble. Then they gobbled like twice, and they were super young, so they probably don't even remember it. And so somehow we got in the blind. Sure enough, like we sit there for 20 minutes. We could see those toms up on the other ridge that are probably like 65 yards away across the creek. Every call firing off. But they're kind of doing that same afternoon, like I'm not coming in bit, where you could do any call and they're going to gobble at it. And they're just not coming in. And then fired back with that hen for a bit. Then all of a sudden she's like, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, well, it's a bad time, because I'm like, these birds are firing off right now. So like get her to go to the bathroom quick. And all of a sudden I peek my head up, and we got this big, we call it the wide Barnett blind that's got the 360 window on it. Yep. And I could just see 3 little redheads, and the decoys are like 4 yards. Like they're danger close. And I just see 4 little heads moving. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like looking up
right there.
They're right here. So I'm like trying to get her situated. I'm like, Nora, there's turkeys right here. So she puts her little head up and she just starts laughing. And I'm so thankful that it was a group of jakes that came in, because I think it was any other bird, they would have just split.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's just laughing and having fun with it. And these birds have, they're kicking the decoy and having fun. And she's getting all mad at me. She's like, Dad, shoot. I'm like, I'm not shooting a jake.
Too early for that.
I would at the end of the season, but
Yeah.
so she got pretty upset with me for not doing that. But we got a little bit of a show for a bit, and then and then we snuck out of there, and that was it. So it was a pretty fun first week, I will say.
Oh, definitely.
One to remember for the books.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun getting back out there and just chasing birds. You know,
we've talked about it forever, and now it's like finally making it happen.
Finally do it, right? Mm-hmm. What were you running for decoys on Ron and Jack's hunt?
So that first morning, what did we do? Yeah, we kind of went light and nimble. I mean, like I said, like I usually early season like to run a lot of decoys, but out of some intel knowledge we got from the property owners, that they were saying that these birds that they've had in their yard are super timid. And I didn't really know what information to take with that. If like they've hunted in the past, of where it's like
they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, if the birds are really weary to where like they don't like decoys, or is it just like they don't like the farmers being out in the field? I didn't know what to go with that. So like I just kept it really simple. I just brought breeder hen with the 3/4 strut jake, worked good. With Collin's bird, did the same exact thing. I think in Eric's scenario with his bird that skirted us, I think if I would have had only a hen and I didn't have, he was a very like subdominant bird for sure. Like he saw that jake decoy and was like, well, I'm out. So I think maybe if I would have ran a hen for that one. And then I honestly think for behind, when I was with Nora, because those toms could see the decoys that we were sitting on across from the river. I think if I would have had a full strutter, that might have made a difference, because there was 3 toms that were together by themselves.
Yep.
So I don't know, but it worked for the other 2, so I can't complain about that.
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to rack my brain on the 3 toms that we were hunting there for a few days, because really you could tell one of them was the dominant, especially yesterday morning, because he was really the only one that ever full strutted. The other 2 were just kind of hanging out, I guess, watching. But I mean, like, they're all had nice long beards and everything, so they're not like they're not like jakes or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting. And then I just was like, okay, well, we're just gonna wait them out and just wait for those, kind of that mid-morning, stroll where they break off the hens. And yeah, like I said earlier, they just did not want to break off them hens, so they had their fair share at a lot of hens, and they weren't coming for nothing. So
that's interesting too, and like goes back to like the economy of like a farm and the breakout of it. Like, of do you have a ton of jakes? Do you have a bunch of toms? Is there like, what's the ratios that you have and stuff too? Because like, I would like to know, like when we were hunting Grovedals and stuff, I mean, we only saw the one tom. I couldn't. They all sounded like toms from what they sound like. They're gobbling like. But like after I heard Eric's report from hunting the other morning, he's like, "Well, we saw a ton of jakes." I was like, "Well, those could all be jakes too." I don't know. And like that plays, like I always find it interesting. Like my hunt from last year on the 3 tom, that group of 3 toms that I killed, not that I killed, the group of 3 birds that came in, and I killed that one tom. That like, it's always interesting to me, like you're talking about, when you see the one tom that's always just full strut, you can tell he's the dominant bird.
Oh yeah, white.
And then you got the one bird that sticks to the back and is always squirrely and like looks like he's tweaking out. And it's just funny though, like you take out that one tom, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, who's the new boss?
Yeah, who's in charge now?
Who's stepping in? But from a calling wise, like, I don't know. That's just it's interesting when they're grouped up like that. Of like, how do you break that dynamic? Like, who are you trying to appease? That, because like it doesn't matter which tom you're getting to come in, as long as you get a tom. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, going off of that, I mean, I was getting them to not respond to every call, but I would get them to respond to one of the toms.
Yeah.
And then I just, and then I find I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to, I'd get one to respond. He'd cut me off or something and I'd just sit and wait. And then they'd, again, they're with hens like,
dude, that's
good
I was gonna
luck.
say, like, you're not gonna beat a live hen. Like the
good luck.
only reason we got Collin his bird, I still think, is because that hen came out and literally for 20 minutes, me and her were just firing back
Yelling
and forth with one another. But I think that's the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, I mean, and that's where my head went to, just texting back and forth with you, telling me kind of that story, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna, try and piss off the local boss hen and see if I can't, because if I can get her to come or any of the hens, and there was a couple times, like there was one hen that started working down the field edge. She got to about 80, cut the field. She was gone. They didn't care about her. 3 more hens did the same thing, walked off about 70 yards.
Did you see any hens nesting or like trying the nest?
I mean, they walked off into some thick stuff, so that's my assumption is where they were going.
I saw one hen that was doing that. She was, like hunting for a spot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, like I literally saw the one Boss Tom breed one of them. I was like, okay, I'm going to turn my camera off.
This is weird. This is a PG. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so it's like as soon as they walked off, all of them, and I was like, I stood up on the field edge. We were just basically sitting in this just thicket. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to see me if I stand up. So and there was just enough of topography where like a little bit of hill, where they could just be on the other side of that hill and I wouldn't be able to see them. And I looked, nothing. So I'm just watching. We had this pretty big puddle to our right in the corner of the field. And all of a sudden I hear right over the top of us. And one of these ducks hit the branch like right above us.
Oh, no kidding.
There's a pair of wood ducks. So I got some cool footage of that.
Were you guys, I can't remember, were you guys blind hunting or were you guys?
No, run and gun.
Okay, run and gun. Nice.
Yeah. No.
So what are you doing for your setup for that with a bow? Like, I mean, I
do have like one of those little stakeout little, where the poles, break off and then snap back together. And so we did that morning. Otherwise we're just sitting up against a tree kind of behind. We have enough. There's enough of it, like not thick stuff, but enough brush in front of, like where Dad was sitting, and I'd sit a little bit behind him to the right or something. And yeah, so I don't know. I think, I'm flirting with it tomorrow. We'll see just how everything's going. But like I said, we're going to try and get out tomorrow afternoon. I might just bring a blind with and maybe bring Liam with too, and just sit a blind in this corner of this field where they usually are. And there's like a cattle pasture over there where there's a plethora of food for them. So, and I know that they roost back in them woods. So I think that'll
be fun.
Yeah. There was a few.
I would have had a hard time yesterday if there was a group of 3 toms that came in, just being with Nora. I would have had a hard time like not slapping one of the toms.
I would have called you stupid if you did, especially with your kid.
There's a fine line. Like I'm still filming it, but I know we want to hunt together. But I was just like, man, that'd be kind of. I have memories with my dad where the same thing of where it's like we had this. We were sitting up in the deer stand. I'm probably not much older than her. I was probably like 4 or 5, and like I don't know how I remember this, but. Same thing. There was like 7 does that came through and I was just crying. I was like, Dad, just shoot one. And he's like, no, I'm waiting for a buck to come out. And sure enough, no buck ever came out. But,
well, the saying, bird in the hand's worth 2 in the bush. Yeah. So no, it'll be fun this next weekend to get together and do a little bit of running and gunning with the old stick and string. So
that'll be fun. I'm excited. I mean, like last year, it's kind of funny how the older you get, time just kind of fades and stuff. Like when I was editing that hunt from last year, kind of forgot that I fell off my roof and like broke my arm and my wrist and all these things. It's like, why did I gun hunt that year? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I couldn't even draw your bow. Couldn't pull my bow back. So
might do it.
It was kind of fun to watch these guys, the last couple mornings here whack 3 with a gun. But also like, oh man, I love bow hunting turkeys though. Like that's fun.
Oh yeah, dude. It'll be a good time, and it'll be interesting to see too. Like the fun part too about hunting with a bow. I mean, like it's nice, obviously shooting one right away because then you got one. But like just to see the difference of like first week, second week, third week, you just see that dynamic shift in the woods. You get, as much rain as we have, the woods is going to green up like crazy here in the next week or so. So, that plays into it too, where, it's harder to roost birds from the road because you just can't see them, right now they stick out like, those birds were 500 yards away. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just got some, Vortex 1042s out. I'm just like, there's 7 birds right there.
I look at it though, for a lot of the properties that we have access or that I have access to, like green up's nice because it just gives me that much more of a chance to just run and gun because like even just a little bit that we're out, I'm just like, man, we stick out so bad right now. Yep. Like if there's any bird in the woods, they saw us. So
yeah, I'd be a little bit more concerned like with that couple properties that we were hunting, like if we were bumping birds, but we didn't spook. Even when Dad was crawling in the thicket, like I got some cool.
I think it's early enough too, like where they're just kind of still just like figuring
what's going on.
I mean, give it 2 weeks, man. Birds will wise up pretty quick. But
no, he got some Cypher First Light camo.
Oh,
it was on sale at Shields when we went in there a couple weeks ago, and like just watching, because I was watching him crawl through this. I'm like, go. But like it is like, I mean, like it's hard to, it was hard to find him on the camera because he blended in so well. So it's kind of cool.
I think the hunting public did that. They bought
all the different patterns,
or was given all the different patterns, and like, dude, it is still funny. Like I think it's different for any environment that you're in, and I think any camo works. But man, like I tell you what, bottom mossy oak just looks good.
Well, yeah, it's just a sharp looking piece of camo there. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. I feel like I'm forgetting some, but been rocking the First Light, or not First Light, the light boots.
They're nice.
Those are
that was a fun little like warm welcome to come back to the farm and put those on.
Yeah, got some domain stuff.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I tried them on when I first came, and they're like freakishly light. I mean, I guess that's the name of the boot, but they're like you were talking about it the other day on the phone. It was just, I don't know how to
describe it. It's like a croc boot almost, but like way comfier,
way sturdier, comfier, and like you can run in them. You know what I mean? Like if you had to run, like they're not going to be slipping all over your foot or something.
They're quiet though.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like between being light, which is awesome, but yeah, they're quiet. I definitely need to I think there's a break-in phase a little bit.
Like anything.
I think we put on maybe I don't know, only maybe 3 miles. So which isn't that much. And but dude, awesome though. I mean, fun. I'm like, I kind of feel bad because I'm not hunting, until I come back home this weekend. But left them down at the farm, and I'm like, I told Eric, I was like, you can wear them if you want. Like I left all my turkey hunting stuff for him. It's like everything he had here is yours, so go ahead and use it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then it's not only turkey hunting this week. I mean, it'd be very curious to see what we end up getting for more rain because there's a lot of farm work that needs to get done, and I don't even know if we're going to be able to get out in the field.
Well, let me tell you right now.
I know it's supposed to rain like Wednesday, Thursday.
We're going to get about 1.5 inches of rain from about noon today until about, like I said, 7-ish tomorrow morning. And then, it looks like another 1/4 inch rain. Well, another probably 1/2 inch rain between Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see. And then following that, another inch of rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So be a wet April, but we'll get those nice May flowers, like they say, with April showers.
Yeah, that might put a damper on things for trying to get corn in the ground. I know a lot of people that have got corn in the ground, which is kind of concerning because you were always worried about, and it's been cold. That's another thing too. Like
it's been really cold.
I've been surprised how cold it's been. Like,
like days are good, but like that those mornings, like I definitely pulled a rookie
35.
I definitely pulled a rookie mistake and just wore regular long socks out there and nothing and my feet were cold. It was 30 degrees.
Yeah.
So
it'll warm up. I mean, it'll warm up fast. I mean,
yeah.
It was, and what is that effect called when the sun comes out and it gets colder?
I talk about it all the time when I'm out hunting. I'm like, God, sun's up just when it's cresting over. And it's like, I'm way more cold. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't forget the term of it, but I know what you're talking about.
And that was, I don't know. I just look at it where it'll warm up. I mean, we need rain. I know we really need moisture up here in central Minnesota. Things are really dry. But I mean, it is definitely wet back home. Like I hope we can get a tractor out. We got a lot of clover to get down on the ground. Got a lot of corn to get down on the ground. If we get a chance, got to prep a lot of sites. We're going to, I mean, just talking about a little bit about food plots. What we got going for this year? We're going to be doing, I'd say a full acre of clover we got to get in that we'll throw some oats in there with it as a nurse crop just to make sure they make it. All the clover that we frost seeded turned out really well, which is good. I was just going to ask that. Nice. Just starting to really, really germ now. I mean, the only thing that I question is that it doesn't drown because some of this, there is puddles, substantial puddles. But outside of that, though, I know we're working on a couple different things we're going to do at the farm this year. I think we're going to try to widen some trails. We're going to take out a couple of food plots, try to get corn down on the ground. We're going to do Domain's upland mix this year, which will be kind of fun to do. I'm excited for that one. Yeah, it'd be interesting. And the more I think about it, like I might buy, I can't think of the name of it, whatever their waterfall one they have. The millet. It's like it's got millet in it and a couple other things. But dude, we've had so many ducks on the pond. That's good. I mean, makes me excited. I must have counted. I'm serious. I must have counted probably like 30 wood ducks. It was a mixture of wood ducks and mallards, and then we also had some geese on the pond. Nice. But how the pond's starting to like change now. So I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but we had some work done on the pond and stuff, and we've kind of let it go, which is sad considering what the pond used to be as a kid growing up. And we had every fish in Minnesota you could think of. We had walleye, smallmouth, largemouth, muskie, northern. I mean, it was this is for a half acre size pond, and like it was muskie in there. Yeah, we had 2 tiger muskies, man. Wow. Yeah, and they I think the one got to maybe like 6 or 7 pounds. Dang. They probably stunned it out because it just wasn't a big enough pond. But the pond also used to be 20 feet deep, and since then it's been silt. And, it's maybe only 6. It's just a mud hole now, pretty much. But, with that happening, it's just like, well, there's a lot of habitat work we could do around the pond that would make it great for waterfowl. Sure. So I don't know. My mind's already turning. As much as excited as that I am that we're in the turkey hunting season right now, my mind's already spewing out ideas for deer hunting because it's coming. For sure. Yeah. Yep. And it's, kind of one of those things like blink, you miss it. But yeah, turkey season's full steam ahead and it's go time. It is go time. Lots of, I shouldn't say we have lots of tags. You have tags in your pocket. Yeah. Yep. Going to be getting over to Wisconsin and it'll be fast and furious here and then summer and be chasing ducks and pheasants and deer before we know it. I'm going to knock on wood right now because I know I said it the last podcast. I think we're done with snow in central Minnesota. I think I'm safe to say. I think I'm safe to say it now. So I might rip off the cover of the boat this week. Get that ready and just start prepping things. I mean, fishing openers, really think about it, is not that far away. I mean, less than a month. And everybody, I know a lot of people have been up there fishing rainy and not boundary waters, but the border waters, and have done very well, or they've been out in other states and stuff, and kind of getting itchy on that now. So that's not too far away either. So yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And I scratched the fish itch for trout opener. That was a good time. And I was going to say we should trout fish when I come home, but the waters are probably going to be freaking foot and a half high now. Yeah. Noah went this morning to a spot that you've gone to before too. And yeah, that's what he said. It was pretty raging. Yeah. He said we didn't catch anything, but I'm like, kind of figured with all the rain, but yeah. Well, I mean, that's all right. We'll just chase turkeys. We have a lot of tags. We have a lot of people to get out, and it'll be fun. So
for sure, dude.
But yeah, this was a fun one, guys. This was a little kickoff episode for turkey season, and we got a lot of other exciting stuff kind of come up here in the pipeline for the next couple of weeks. And like always, like and subscribe, and be sure to leave us a review on the podcast wherever you might listen to it. And yeah, here's to the first week.
Yeah, let's get her done.
All right. See you next time.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.